Somewhere between the velvet dresses and the curtsies, between the painted smiles and the whispered greetings, I began to disappear. Not in the magical way Amelia had. No, mine was slower, subtle, like sand falling through cracks. I was still Emma, but every day, I felt her slipping away. My mornings started earlier now, before sunrise, and they were relentless. Lady Amara's lessons were carved into every moment. Posture, diction, protocol. I learned how to greet a duke differently from a baron, how to walk into a room like I belonged there, how to feign interest in aristocrats who couldn't even remember the color of their own servants' eyes.
Elegance,
Lady Amara said once,
is learned.
And I was learning, fast. But none of it felt real. Afternoons were spent in court, seated beside the royal family on a dais that made me feel like a performer in a gilded theater. There was never a quiet moment. Nobles argued over land disputes. Trade envoys demanded grain subsidies. A duke wanted soldiers for his border. A countess accused her cousin of treason disguised as love. I said little, nodded often, listened always, and took notes, not just on policy but on people, who flattered excessively, who questioned my memory, who stared too long at my face, trying to detect the difference. There were plenty who doubted me. I saw it in their narrowed eyes, their cautious greetings, their calculated words. But they didn't say it aloud, because King Vincent believed me. Queen Rosalind stood beside me, and for most of the court, their approval was enough, for now. The palace was a world of secrets, and I began to sense them in the way people lowered their voices when I passed, or shifted their gaze too quickly. But not all those secrets were aimed at me. One evening, during a late walk, I passed a narrow corridor outside the Eastern Gallery and heard voices, a pair of nobles deep in whispered conversation.
She doesn't remember half of what she should,
one said.
She's either playing us or someone else is playing her.
Either way, it won't stay hidden forever.
I didn't wait to hear the rest. I backed away slowly, the weight in my chest growing heavier. I confided in no one but two people who had never asked too much of me. Marjorie and Samuel. Marjorie, with her quiet understanding and the way she adjusted my gowns without comment when I trembled from nerves. Samuel, with his soft grunts and quiet eyes as he trimmed rose bushes or swept dew from garden stones. They didn't ask for stories of my past. They simply treated me with gentleness. And in this place, that was rare enough to be sacred. One night I stayed out late in the garden. The stars were cold and silver above, and the moon painted everything in shades of truth. I sat beneath an ivy-wrapped archway, letting the silence wrap around me, when Marjorie appeared without being summoned. She sat beside me on the stone bench and pulled a small folded letter from her sleeve.
From the village,
she said. My heart twisted. It was a letter from Nelson's hood. I recognized the handwriting immediately, my stepfather's. The ink was slightly smudged, the paper creased from travel. I opened it with shaking fingers.
Emma, we are well. The forge misses you, though it's still running strong. Everyone here talks about the royal carriage, about how you were taken off like some storybook girl. I don't know what to believe. But I do believe in you. Be safe. Be smart. And if you ever need to come home, you know where to find me. Pa.
I held the letter to my chest, biting down on my lip until it almost bled. I couldn't cry here. Not in the palace. Not where the walls listened. But oh, how I wanted to run. Despite everything, there were moments of beauty in this strange, unbearable life. In the way sunlight fell through stained glass in the morning. In the way children in the palace courtyard smiled when they saw me. In the rare laugh shared with a passing maid. In the stories told quietly by Samuel as he pruned roses no one ever seemed to notice. There were times I forgot, even for a heartbeat, that I was pretending. Times I felt like I belonged. And that terrified me more than anything. Because it meant the lie was winning. But the palace had eyes, and some of those eyes were turning toward me. One day, a note arrived in my chamber, folded so neatly I thought it was part of a lesson. How long do you think you can keep pretending? No signature, no seal, just those words. I burned it in the hearth immediately, but it stayed in my mind for days. Every evening, I returned to my chambers and washed the court dust from my hands. I would look into the mirror and whisper, "You're Emma, just Emma." But the girl staring back looked more and more like Amelia. And I didn't know how to get Emma back.